So let's assume you want to cut a gown that is flare and you are trying to manage your material. There's no space for you folding on bias to start cutting out all the pieces of your gown. So this is your bust line, this is your under bust line, this is your bust span line. Because you need this bust span, you have to calculate the bust span. This is your neckline, your shoulder, your armhole, and you want to cut this gown that is displayed on the screen. Okay, so what you do is plot out your pattern this way. You have to use a pattern for it. Okay, anytime you want to minimize waste of material, it's just pattern that you're supposed to use. So use your pattern paper, cut it out on the pattern paper first before you now transfer to your material. Okay, so now we are going to use splash and spread for this particular. Normally this is a straight gown. Okay, it's not even an A line, it's a straight gown, but we want to convert it to a flare gown, at least to a 180-degree flare gown, but we don't want to waste our material. So this is our bust span, this is our bust line, this is our under bust. So now look at what you are going to do. You want to convert this straight gown. Did you see what I did? Now you slash through the under bust line to the last point so that this pattern paper can turn easily. Okay, so that it can turn easily. If you want the back to be excess flare too, you slash here, because the front we are not going to be, the front is on fold, so it cannot bend more than what we have bent now. Do you see it? Okay, so it depends on you. You can make it very wide, you can reduce it anyhow you want to do it, but take note of this line, okay, because you still follow this line. Now let's place it on our material and cut it out. Let's see how it's going to look like. Now because we want to assume that we don't have enough material, okay, so we are not going to be putting this material, start putting on bias. We don't have enough material to start putting it on bias. So for that reason we do it this way. Bring it here, okay, then anyhow you want to do you see, anyhow you want to make sure it's on the under bust line. Okay, so anyhow you want to, you can make it wider, you can bring it close. Mistake that people make is slashing only here and leaving it like that. You have to slash to the edge. Okay, now you will now have to mark. Now let's cut it out. Can you see? It has turned to an umbrella gown. Okay, so now you cut the same way you cut the front, you cut the back, except if you want the back to be fuller. Okay, if you want the back to be fuller, then let me show you what you are going to do. Okay, because we want the back to be fuller, this is what we do. But remember that you can do this at the back because you are slitting the back. We couldn't do this at the front because we are not slitting the front. Okay, so now we are going to be slitting here. That is why we can afford to slit it like this. Okay, then you mark it out. Please take note of how I curved my hand here, okay, so that your gown will be fine. Okay, now I've marked it. Let me cut it out. Okay, now we have cut for the back, and this is what we have for the back. Okay, you can see your umbrella gown is ready. Your umbrella gown is ready. Okay, and this is how it will look like. Okay, now if you want, so your gown is ready. Your gown is ready. Okay, now let's set this aside. Okay, so let's even assume that, okay, we want to make 360-degree flay for a doll baby. Okay, so that's what they call it, doll baby abi. So, and the waist is 10 inches. Okay, let's assume that the waist is 10 inches. I want to use 10 inches for an example. The waist circumference is 10 inches. That's round waist is 10 inches. Okay, so if the waist circumference is 10 inches, let's even add extra 2 inches, which is 12 inches, right? Okay, 12 inches, and then we want to make the wideness just 5 inches. Okay, this is 12 inches and this is 5 inches, or let's just say 4 inches, so that it will accommodate the pieces I want to use. Okay, 4 inches. So we roll it out and we cut it out. Helps you manage your material. Okay, so you make sure you measure it 10 inches, but I added 2 inches for extra allowance. Okay, so now you're going to slice it this way. If you like, you measure the distances you're going to be slicing. If you don't like, just slice it, use your eye to slice it equally. But when you are slitting it, you make sure that it gets almost to the edge. Okay, you make sure that it gets almost to the edge. That way it allows your cardboard or your pattern paper to move freely. Okay, so the tinier you slice it, the able you are to freely turn it this way. Okay, the tinier you slice it, but you have to be very careful so that you don't cut through and cut it out. Okay, like this one is almost cutting out, so you have to be careful so it doesn't really cut out like that. Okay, so we'll be using this. I'll be using this material. Please don't bother about the reflection that's coming through the window. Okay, so we'll place our already cut out. Okay, like so. So when you place it, you keep turning it, you keep spreading it. That's what is called splash and spread. You keep spreading it. Okay, let me still cut through this one. Free it a little bit. Okay, You keep spreading it. Spread it to the fullest. Okay, you spread it to the fullest. Just keep spreading it. Okay, spread it to the fullest. Okay, okay, you spread it to the fullest and then you mark it out. Marked it, so let's cut it out now. This is actually a flounce, okay, but if you curve it well, if you spread it out well, you can get a 360-degree flay from it. Okay, if you curve it properly, you can get a 360-degree flay from it. Okay, you can see, guys, you can see. I know my window is not letting us see properly, but then we can see the fullness of the flay. Okay, so if you cut it out properly, you see the fullness. You see the fullness of the flay. Don't know if the camera is picking it. Okay, so you can use this. You can actually use this to cut your 360-degree flay instead of wasting all the material in cutting. So that's why I say you can see from here now. You can see the quantity of material I used. You can see the quantity of material I used. Splash and spread helps you to get your curves, helps you to get your flay, helps you to minimize wastage of material. You can see the quantity of material I used. So you can actually use this in ready to make wear business. This is what we use. Okay, nobody has time to start folding clothes into two except the person is paying dearly for it. Okay, if it's something you want to do fast, sharp, just something you don't, like, you are starting out and you can't be selling one turkey material for 30,000. There are still some people selling for 4,000, 5,000. This is what they do to minimize wastage of material. You can see how it's bouncing. You can see how this is your full flay. So for you to get splash and spread, the fullness, it depends on how you splash it. If you splash it properly and you spread it out properly, you will get your full flay. Okay, so we want to talk about how to use splash and spread for our 6 pieces skirt. Okay, to make the flay fuller, to make it more beautiful. Okay, so this is our skirt pattern, right? This is our skirt pattern. The waist, the hips, and every other thing we have drafted. Remember, we are using bust span again for our 6 pieces skirt. Okay, so this is the bust span line, and that's where we are going to cut out this one. Okay, now this line here is the knee line, right? This line here is the knee line. Okay, so this is what we'll do. This is the center piece and this is the side piece, of which this center piece is on fold, right? And this is going to be 2 pieces. Okay, if you don't know how to cut your 6 pieces skirt, then you just hold on, because I'll still do an illustration on that later. Now we divide here this one into 2. You splash it into 2. Remember that this is a rough work, so while doing your own, you'll be more, make it more neater. Then, like I said, slit it to the end. Slit it to the end so that it can. Okay, now this one too, you slit in the middle. Okay, slit in the middle, get into that knee line. Get into that knee line, you slit it this way. You want to make a 6 pieces skirt that the flay will be very full. Okay, now we pick our material. Usual, this is our material that we'll be working on. We put on fold because we want to make the center. Put it on fold. Okay, put it on fold because we want to make the center. Okay, this is the center one. Okay, but because this center is on fold, we will not be spreading this side, so we'll leave this side because there's no way to slit it. But this one we can turn, we can spread it anyhow we want, anyhow wide we want. Now I want mine this wide. Okay, now I'm going to be marking it out. I want these 6 pieces to be super flay. Okay, okay. Guys, you can see this is the center of our 6 pieces skirt. Okay, we still want to get for the side. Okay, want to get for the side. Because there's a slit here, so we can afford to spread the 2 legs. Spread it as wide as we can get. Okay, spread it as wide as you can get. Okay, so we cut out. Okay, so this is our 6 pieces skirt. We'll also cut for the back. Okay, by the time you join this, okay, let me go ahead to join it. By the time you join this, you find out that the flay will be very full. Let me go ahead to join it and come back and show us.